In the late 1990s, China was undergoing significant transformations during its economic reforms. Cities like Nanchang, Wenzhou, Changzhou, and Hefei became commercial hubs, attracting millions of young people with dreams of a better life. Amid this backdrop, Lao Rongzhi, a woman born in 1974 in Zhujiang, Jiangxi province, entered adulthood with a promising appearance. No one could have imagined that a woman with such an innocent, calm demeanor, working as a gentle kindergarten teacher, could be capable of such darkness. Behind her perfect facade lay a soul gradually consumed by materialistic ambitions, leading her down a path of horrific crimes. Without further delay, let's dive into today's case. And don't forget, if you enjoy true crime stories, please take a moment to subscribe to our channel and leave a comment to support us. Lao Rongzhi was born into an ordinary working-class family in Zhujiang, Jiangxi province. As the youngest of 5 siblings, she grew up in modest circumstances but was deeply cherished by her parents, especially her father. Her father, a worker at the Zhujiang Petroleum Company, placed high hopes on his youngest daughter, believing she could escape the family's hardships. He invested heavily in her education, and Lao Rongzhi did not disappoint. In 1992, at the age of 18, she graduated and became a Chinese language teacher at the Zhujiang Petroleum Company Elementary School. With her striking appearance, colleagues described Lao Rongzhi as intelligent, adept at communication, and exuding confidence. To her family, she was their hope for social mobility. However, beneath the surface, Lao Rongzhi harbored a simmering discontent. Her teacher's salary, though stable, was modest and insufficient to satisfy her craving for a luxurious, comfortable life. In 1993, at the age of 19, Lao Rongzhi's life took a dramatic turn when she met Fa Ziying at a karaoke bar in Nanchang. Fa Ziying, born in 1964, was an 11-year-older man who had transitioned from repairing electronics to a life of crime involving fraud and theft. With his tall stature, charismatic speech, and lavish lifestyle, Fa Ziying quickly captivated Lao Rongzhi. He boasted about the large sums of money he earned from illegal activities, promising her a life of wealth and luxury. The relationship between Lao Rongzhi and Fa Ziying was not just romantic, but a dangerous symbiosis. Fa Ziying recognized Lao Rongzhi's beauty and intelligence as perfect tools for his criminal schemes. He taught her how to manipulate others, using her charm to gain trust and lure victims. Seduced by the prospect of wealth that Fa Ziying painted, Lao Rongzhi gradually abandoned her teaching career. She cut ties with her family, leaving behind her parents and siblings in Zhujiang, to follow Fa Ziying across various cities. Lao Rongzhi's family noticed the changes in her. Her father repeatedly urged her to return, warning her about the dangers of Fa Ziying, but Lao Rongzhi refused. She became cold, distant, and seemingly indifferent to the moral values she had been raised with. For Lao Rongzhi, Fa Ziying opened the door to a new world where money and power reigned supreme. This relationship laid the foundation for a series of crimes spanning from 1996 to 1999, transforming Lao Rongzhi from a young teacher into a ruthless female killer. From 1996 to 1999, Lao Rongzhi and Fa Ziying committed 7 murders across 4 cities: Nanchang, Wenzhou, Changzhou, and Hefei. Their methods were extremely brutal and systematic. Lao Rongzhi played the role of the bait, using her beauty and charm to approach victims, typically wealthy men. After gaining their trust, she lured them to locations where Fa Ziying waited to rob, kidnap, or kill them. First case: Nanchang, 1996. In 1996, in Nanchang, Jiangxi province, Lao Rongzhi worked as a hostess at a karaoke bar. She approached Xiongqi, a local businessman around 35 years old who frequented the bar. Xiongqi was captivated by Lao Rongzhi's beauty and sweet demeanor. She pretended to have feelings for him and invited him to an apartment rented by her and Fa Ziying. There, Fa Ziying overpowered Xiongqi, tying him up with rope and demanding ransom from his family. When the family couldn't meet the 200,000 yuan demand, Fa Ziying strangled Xiongqi to death with an electrical cord. Lao Rongzhi assisted in cleaning the scene, wiping away fingerprints and blood. Xiongqi's body was hidden in an abandoned cellar nearby. The couple stole 50,000 yuan in cash and some jewelry before fleeing Nanchang to evade capture. Second case, Wenzhou, 1997. In 1997, Lao Rongzhi and Fa Ziying relocated to Wenzhou, Zhejiang province, a bustling commercial hub. Lao Rongzhi worked at an upscale nightclub where she targeted Liang Xiaochun, a 40-year-old textile merchant. She lured Liang Xiaochun to a rented apartment where Fa Ziying was waiting. After stealing 30,000 yuan and an expensive watch, Fa Ziying stabbed Liang Xiaochun multiple times in the chest. The body was dismembered and dumped in the Wenzhou River. Lao Rongzhi handled the cleanup, burning blood-stained clothes and cleaning the murder weapon. The crime went undetected initially as the couple left Wenzhou just days later. Third and fourth cases. Changzhou, 1998. In 1998, Lao Rongzhi and Fa Ziying moved to Changzhou, Jiangsu province, where they committed 2 consecutive murders. The first victim was Chen Haiping, a 45-year-old gold dealer. Posing as a sex worker, Lao Rongzhi approached Chen Haiping in a red light district. She lured him to a cheap hotel where Fa Ziying subdued him. After stealing 100,000 yuan and 2 kilos of gold, Fa Ziying strangled Chen Haiping to death. The body was hidden in an abandoned industrial area, wrapped in sacks. The second victim was Liu Ming, a 30-year-old taxi driver. Lao Rongzhi hired Liu Ming to drive her to a remote suburban area. There, Fa Ziying ambushed and stabbed Liu Ming multiple times. The couple stole the taxi and 5,000 yuan in cash. Liu Ming's body was left in a nearby forest. Both cases caused panic in Changzhou, but the police couldn't link them due to a lack of concrete evidence. Fifth, sixth, and seventh cases. Hefei, 1999. In 1999, Lao Rongzhi and Fa Ziying arrived in Hefei, Anhui province, where they committed their final 3 murders, with the case of the Yin Jianhua family becoming the focal point. Lao Rongzhi approached Yin Jianhua, a 38-year-old real estate businessman, at a bar. Posing as a real estate broker, she invited Yin Jianhua to an apartment to discuss a project. There, Fa Ziying subdued Yin Jianhua, locking him in a pre-prepared cage. The couple extorted money and lured a carpenter to the scene, killing him in front of Yin Jianhua to force him to pay 300,000 won in ransom. They also kidnapped Yin Jianhua's wife, Zhang Meiling, and their 3-year-old daughter, Yin Xiaoyu, when they came looking for him. The couple demanded 300,000 yuan, but the family couldn't comply. Fa Ziying killed all 3 with a knife, while Lao Rongzhi assisted in tying up the victims and cleaning the scene. The bodies were hidden in an abandoned warehouse on the outskirts of Hefei. The second victim in Hefei was Lu Zhongming, a 35-year-old bank employee. Lao Rongzhi lured Lu Zhongming to an apartment with promises of a romantic relationship. Fa Ziying stole 20,000 yuan and killed Lu Zhongming by strangulation. The body was dumped in a nearby canal. In July 1999, a construction worker in Hefei discovered the bodies of the Yin Jianhua family in an abandoned warehouse. The local police immediately launched an investigation, noting the brutality. All 3 victims, including a 3-year-old child, were bound and stabbed multiple times. Evidence at the scene, such as ropes and weapons, suggested a professional killer. The Hefei police initiated a large-scale investigation, suspecting this wasn't an isolated case. A crucial clue emerged when police found Yin Jianhua's wallet at a pawnshop in Hefei. The shop owner described a tall man, around 35, and a young, beautiful woman who brought the wallet. Security footage from the shop provided blurry images of Lao Rongzhi and Fa Ziying, becoming the first evidence to track the couple. Hefei police collaborated with authorities in Nanchang, Wenzhou, and Changzhou, identifying similarities in prior disappearances and murders. Chinese police launched a massive manhunt, focusing on Fa Ziying based on descriptions and camera footage. In December 1999, Fa Ziying was arrested at a Hefei motel while trying to sell a car stolen from Liu Ming. During interrogation, Fa Ziying admitted his role in the 7 murders, robberies, and kidnappings. Initially, Fa Ziying refused to provide information about his girlfriend to the police, later giving false details to help her cover her tracks. Fa Ziying provided details about the crime locations and their methods. He described Lao Rongzhi as intelligent, skilled at psychological manipulation, and always calm after each crime. Based on his confession, police searched the apartments the couple had rented, finding personal items belonging to Lao Rongzhi, such as lipstick and clothing, but no clues about her whereabouts. Fa Ziying was tried in 2000 and sentenced to death. Meanwhile, Lao Rongzhi erased her tracks and escaped. The hunt for Lao Rongzhi began, but no one anticipated it would span 2 decades. In the first decade, police faced numerous challenges. Investigative technology in the 2000s was limited. Security cameras were rare, facial recognition systems didn't exist, and criminal databases weren't fully digitized. Lao Rongzhi seemed to exploit these gaps to stay hidden. She lived under false identities, moving through major cities like Xiamen, Nanjing, Guangzhou, and Shenzhen, taking jobs that didn't require documentation, such as bar hostess, street vendor, or shop assistant. The police relentlessly pursued small leads. In 2001, a hotel worker in Xiamen reported a woman resembling Lao Rongzhi working at a bar under the name Chen Jia. Xiamen police searched the area but found she had already left. They discovered a bag left in a rented room containing lipstick and a dress, but no verifiable DNA. In 2003, another report came from Guangzhou, where a woman named Li Mei was suspected at a mall. Police raided her apartment, but it was a case of mistaken identity. These failures frustrated the investigation team, but Captain Li, though reassigned to administrative work, kept the case file on his desk, regularly contacting other provinces for updates. The police adopted a long-term strategy. They preserved Lao Rongzhi's DNA and fingerprints from crime scenes, issued wanted notices on television and in newspapers, and offered a 100,000 yuan reward for information leading to her capture. They also interviewed Lao Rongzhi's family in Zhejiang, but her parents stated they hadn't been in contact since 1995. Some leads came from former colleagues at the elementary school, who described her as reserved but highly ambitious. These details helped police build a psychological profile. Lao Rongzhi was intelligent, adaptable, and capable of living under a perfect disguise. In 2007, a small breakthrough occurred when Nanjing police identified a woman named Wang Xia working at a cosmetics store, resembling Lao Rongzhi. They discreetly collected a cup she discarded, but the DNA didn't match. Though a setback, this event reinforced the investigation team's determination. Detective Chen, a young member of the task force, took charge of the case in 2008. He spent hours reviewing old reports, analyzing every detail of how Lao Rongzhi moved and changed identities. Detective Chen realized she likely lived in large cities where dense populations allowed her to blend in. The police collaborated with criminal psychologists to predict Lao Rongzhi's behavior. They concluded she likely avoided areas with security cameras, refrained from using bank accounts, and limited deep social interactions. This made tracking her even harder, but Detective Chen persisted. He organized monthly task force meetings, analyzing every public tip, no matter how minor. In 2009, a Shenzhen resident reported seeing a woman resembling Lao Rongzhi at a night market. Police searched the area for 3 days, checking hundreds of people, but found no trace of her. In the 2010s, China began deploying the Skynet surveillance system, with millions of cameras installed in major cities. This was a potential turning point for the Lao Rongzhi case. Police updated her profile in the national database, including photos and facial characteristics. However, early facial recognition technology was limited, effective only with clear images. The only photo of Lao Rongzhi from the 1999 pawn shop was too blurry, complicating comparisons. Still, the police pressed on. In 2012, a report from Guangzhou suggested a woman named Zhang Wei, working at a bar, had a voice and gait similar to Lao Rongzhi. Police secretly monitored her for a week, collecting a hair sample from a salon she visited. The DNA test was negative, but Detective Chen remained undeterred. He convinced superiors to increase camera coverage in crowded areas like bus stations, malls, and train stations, hoping Lao Rongzhi would inadvertently appear. In 2015, a major advancement occurred with improved facial recognition technology. police used software to reconstruct Lao Rongzhi's face, predicting how she might look after 16 years. They created 3 versions: one with long dyed blonde hair, one with short hair and glasses, and one with an aged face. These images were uploaded to the Skynet system, set to scan millions of faces daily. Detective Chen and his team worked tirelessly, checking every system alert, though most were false positives. A dramatic moment unfolded in 2016 when Skynet detected a woman at a Nanchang train station with an 80% facial match to Lao Rongzhi. Police deployed a 20-person team, surrounding the station during rush hour. They checked the IDs of hundreds of women, causing chaos in the area. Ultimately, the woman was identified as an unrelated office worker. Detective Chen acknowledged the failure in his report but told his team, "Every mistake brings us closer to her." The police also expanded their media strategy. They aired Lao Rongzhi's story on popular crime shows like China's Most Wanted, urging the public to provide tips. Some citizens reported seeing her at markets or eateries, but none led to results. Still, these efforts kept the case in the public eye, preventing it from fading into obscurity. By 2019, China's Skynet system reached its peak with over 600 million cameras, integrated with AI capable of facial recognition in seconds. Xiamen police in Fujian province were tasked with scanning data in crowded areas. On November 25, 2019, a camera at the Golden Plaza Mall in Xiamen flagged a woman whose face matched Lao Rongzhi's profile at 99.9%. She was working at a watch counter under the alias Mao Xiaoping, posing as an ordinary saleswoman. Detective Chen, now 45, received a call from the Xiamen team at midnight. He immediately flew from Nanchang to Xiamen, carrying a case file hundreds of pages thick. The investigation team discreetly monitored Lao Rongzhi for 3 days, collecting a DNA sample from a coffee cup she discarded at a cafe. The DNA confirmed Mao Xiaoping was Lao Rongzhi. On November 28, 2019, police executed a discreet arrest operation. A 10-person team, disguised as shoppers, surrounded Lao Rongzhi's watch counter. When she left her shift at 7 p.m., 2 plainclothes detectives approached, requesting her ID. Lao Rongzhi remained calm, presenting a fake ID under the name Mao Xiaoping. But when police asked her to come to the station, she panicked and tried to flee into the crowd. Detective Chen and his team quickly subdued her, handcuffing and escorting her to a police van. In the vehicle, Lao Rongzhi denied her identity, but her eyes betrayed a sense of defeat. The police brought Lao Rongzhi back to Nanchang for interrogation. In her handbag, they found fake documents, cash, and a phone without a SIM card, indicators that she maintained a secretive lifestyle. During questioning, Lao Rongzhi initially remained silent, but when confronted with DNA evidence and images from the pawn shop, she admitted her true identity. Over 20 years, Lao Rongzhi lived under multiple false identities, moving through cities like Xiamen, Nanjing, Guangzhou, and Shenzhen. She worked in bars, malls, and retail stores, always maintaining a polished appearance to avoid suspicion. Lao Rongzhi used forged documents, changed her hairstyle, hair color, and clothing to evade recognition. She avoided bank accounts or fixed phone numbers, living an almost invisible life under the surveillance system. The primary motive for Lao Rongzhi and Fa Ziying was greed and a desire for a lavish lifestyle. Despite her promising start as a teacher, Lao Rongzhi was drawn into the materialistic world Fa Ziying introduced, where money and power became the ultimate goals. After her arrest in 2019, Lao Rongzhi was tried at the Nanchang Intermediate People's Court in December 2020. During the trials, she denied being the mastermind, claiming she acted under Fa Ziying's orders. Lao Rongzhi stated that Fa Ziying frequently abused her, threatening to kill her if she didn't comply. She portrayed herself as a victim of circumstance, coerced into crime with no other choice. Lao Rongzhi even cried in court, saying she lived in fear during her time with Fa Ziying and fled to protect herself. However, prosecutors presented evidence contradicting Lao Rongzhi's claims. They showed receipts for luxury clothing and jewelry purchases, indicating Lao Rongzhi used stolen money to sustain a glamorous lifestyle. Witnesses, including bar and nightclub staff, confirmed Lao Rongzhi always appeared confident, showing no signs of coercion. Physical evidence, such as lipstick and clothing found at crime scenes, matched Lao Rongzhi's personal tastes, suggesting her active role in concealing crimes. Police also discovered that Lao Rongzhi had contacted Yin Jianhua's family to demand ransom, using a calm and professional tone, unlike someone under duress. Recordings of these calls were presented in court, weakening Lao Rongzhi's defense. Prosecutors emphasized that Lao Rongzhi not only lured victims, but also participated in planning, selecting locations, and disposing of bodies, proving she was an active accomplice. In September 2021, Lao Rongzhi was sentenced to death for murder, robbery, and kidnapping. She appealed, arguing she didn't directly kill anyone and acted under Fa Ziying's control. The Jiangxi High People's Court reviewed the appeal but upheld the sentence in 2022, stating that Lao Rongzhi played a significant role in all crimes and could not be considered a victim. On December 18, 2023, Lao Rongzhi was executed in a Nanchang prison. In her final days, she refused to meet her family, expressed no public remorse, and only requested burial in her hometown of Zhejiang. The Lao Rongzhi case shocked Chinese society, not only due to the brutality of the crimes, but also because of her ability to evade capture for 20 years. The case sparked discussions about women's roles in violent crimes, with divided opinions. Some viewed Lao Rongzhi as a victim of Fa Ziying's psychological manipulation, while others saw her as a cold-blooded criminal who used her beauty and intelligence to commit heinous acts. The Lao Rongzhi case is not just a crime story, but a lesson in moral corruption, greed, and the power of justice. From a promising young teacher, Lao Rongzhi chose a path of crime, driven by materialistic desires, leaving pain for the victims' families and her own. On a positive note, the case drove improvements in China's judicial system. It also highlighted the importance of perseverance in pursuing criminals, as the police never gave up despite 2 decades passing. Thank you, dear audience, for joining us on this emotional journey to uncover the truth. We look forward to seeing you in upcoming cases, where we will continue to provide insightful and honest perspectives on the world around us. Goodbye, and see you soon.